Quality is not an act, it's a habit. Good morning, everyone, to our 50th Fireside Chat. I, Smith Pandya from BPharm MBA third year,
And I, Durva Desai, from BPharm MBA second year.
are honored to have Mr. Gaurav Barsaiyan, Senior Quality Professional, Fill and Finish Expansion at Novo Nordisk, as our speaker for this remarkable 50th session of our Saturday 10 a.m.
Mr. Gaurav is a highly motivated and result oriented professional with expertise in quality, regulatory, and pharmacovigilance domain. Currently working in Europe's most valuable organization for building manufacturing sites for the future to cater patient needs with AI, robotics, and automation equipped facilities.
First of all, sir, we are very grateful for you to wake up at 5 a.m. in such a snowy mornings at Copenhagen. So before we begin, I would like to let you know that we have a diverse group of audience, including faculties and students from pharmacy, engineering, textile background. So I would like to keep my questions in layman's language. So how are you doing on this fabulous Saturday morning?
I'm just trying my best to keep my eyes open at 5 a.m. in the morning. It's first time I'm wearing a coat at 5 a.m. in the morning on Saturday. So let's go.
That's good to hear, sir. So, within a short span of time, you were able to achieve a great leap in your career. Would you share your career journey and major skills that help you moving up the ladder?
Yeah, absolutely. To start with, I think it's good to start with the previous going back to 11 years. I think I got my campus placement from where you're sitting right now, and that was my home base in 2009 to 11. And I joined a company called Micro Labs where I started my career with. And one thing I remember you should always have is patience. Uh, I really thank my family. I called my father one day when I joined this first organization, and he said, you know, struggles are everywhere, so just stay, don't come back home. And that's where the struggle started. And I had a patience to work in the manufacturing organization, standing with all the operators as a IPQA, in process quality assurance, and that led to me where I am today. So I would suggest patience is something which is really very important skill to have it for your journey.
Thank you.
So do the dual degree programs like MPharm plus MBA offered by NMIMS have an upper edge? If yes, how?
I would say all of you are lucky to have that program available now, and you are enrolled with that. At my time, when I was part of Nasimunji, we did not have that program earlier. Else, I would have been loved to be part of that program. And I still remember the first day in 2019, I was sitting in Dr. R.S. God's cabin, and because I was in dilemma that I should go for masters in pharmacy or I should go for MBA, because MBA was very fascinating word at that moment. And he suggested me that you can do M Form today, but you can do MBA tomorrow also. And I think I have aspiration to do an MBA now. So you guys are lucky to have it together at the same time, because I have spent my 4 years after my M Form to as part of business management role to learn business management, where you're already getting an opportunity to learn very much in advance. That's the other thing, though I got paid to learn that. But yes, I have invested 4 years of my life for learning it.
Okay, sir. And sir, what are the major current challenges in the international market pertaining to your domain?
I think it's pertaining to our domain and not only my domain. So I would say standing out in a crowd is a biggest challenge. There are a lot of people in the crowd with the same skills, with the same experience, but how do you make yourself stand out in the crowd? So I think there are long queues when you have an interview or a position opens in a multinational organization. but it's really very important to see that what difference you have from the crowd as an individual. So I would suggest you need to develop, I mean, everyone has to develop a skill which is very unique, very advanced, leveraging to today's market. So if you have that skill, I think that's the challenge, to have that skill. So I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but it's an opportunity for all of us. Today, I'm here for a position where there are a lot of people for it, but yes, I may had something different from all of others, that I have got this opportunity sitting in Europe.
So, as we are aware that pharmacovigilance deals with reporting and management of adverse drug responses, there have been some cases recently where some drugs have reported severe side effects, even after them being in the market for several years. So, how do quality and management experts handle such situations?
First of all, reporting a adverse drug reaction doesn't mean that the product is not good to use. Every product has some reactions to every individual. So it's a pharmacodynamics which works with every different person. It may be different for me, it may be different for you. It's very important to be reported to the organization. And then there's a process where we investigate these complaints or adverse drug reactions. And at the same time, we also have to report them to the authorities. Until and unless it has been proven that it's fatal for the human being to be used, the drug is gonna still be on the market, however adverse drug reaction it has been. Because these drugs don't come into the market just in a simple manner. I hope you have been taught, all of us have been taught, how many years does it take for a drug to come to the market, and they go through a severe clinical trials with different races, different kind of people with different disorders. So everything is tested, and after that, it has been approved to be back to the market. So it depends from person to person. And again, reporting adverse drug reaction doesn't mean that the product cannot be used. But yes, it has to go through a severe investigation at any organization, and that has a process. So that's where quality assurance comes into the picture, where we do the testing, where we do the investigations, we prepare the reports, we communicate to the patients, we communicate to the health authorities, and yes, it's well documented. If you ask me, back in 2010 also, when a complaint was filed, it was still there in our systems of our organization.
So, as you said that you ought to manage, several aspects of, reporting and responding to an adverse drug reaction. How do you basically strike a balance between need for innovation and speed to the market, and the stringent risk assessment necessary in the pharmaceutical industry to ensure that product quality and patient safety isn't compromised?
Uh, it was very traditional way that we used to do a risk assessment in advance. I mean, let's say a project comes to our hands, and then we used to sit on a round table, do a risk assessment, and do a mitigation, make an action plan. I think we were doing a lot at back in to the 5 to 10 years back. But now the scenario has changed. Actually, I work in a profile called SRV, which is a science and risk-based validation. Actually, we take risk now. So we rely on our partners, we take risk and go ahead, and we will, so there are two types of risk, then uncontrolled risk and controlled risk. Controlled risk is where you have a very minimal effect or impact on the business. Then you call it as a control risk, because if something goes wrong in that scenario, actually you have an opportunity to handle it. But there are some uncontrolled risks which may have an impact. Anyway, they were going to have an impact. So you cannot control them anymore, and you have to make an action plan later on. So why waste time earlier, and why not later when it actually occurs? So that way we are innovating things and making a speed to the market, rather investing time in thinking about the risk in advance. We are actually prepared to handle the risk later on when it actually occurs. And that's how we innovate things. We spend our time, which we save in doing the risk assessments, we do in innovations, and then actually that brings us speed to the market.
So, as you mentioned about SRB, what are the various aspects that involves in SRB?
It's a you must have heard about DQ, IQ, OQ, PQ, and everything in quality assurance, right? So it's a different way of handling a validation nowadays, which we call as a science and risk-based validation. It has the same concept altogether. It has the same parts of validation still, but is in a different manner where we do not rely on the organization to provide any documentation or the protocols for these validation steps, but we rely on our suppliers. We trust them. We have a due diligence very much in advance to ensure that we are not stepping into something which is impacting our organization.
Certainly. So, as you mentioned earlier about emerging trends and evolution, so can you share some emerging trends and technologies in the pharmaceutical sector that you anticipate will have a significant influence on the drug manufacturing in the near future?
First and foremost is AI. It's artificial intelligence. I think artificial intelligence is making a huge impact on a pharma world and everywhere. Actually, I should say it's not only pharma, but actually we in pharma are also stepping into AI. Today, we are building facilities for our future, and I can say, sitting in Copenhagen, actually, I can operate my facilities in site Clayton, in US, in France, in China. So we work on the AR augmented reality, and we have those VR glasses, and we hold the instruments, and actually we have the robots sitting in US sites and France side, and these robots actually work at the manufacturing lines for us. But sitting over here in Copenhagen, we operate these robots. So AI absolutely is a skill and a technology which is emerging right now and will have a huge impact on pharma world. I will give you example. The training setup. I back in college also and in industry also. How we do the trainings is a faculty comes into the room. You have around 100 people sitting in the room. Faculty invest their couple of hours, like maybe 2 or 3 hours, and talking about one of the topic, asking questions and everything. Why don't we save these hours from every faculty and make it automated training? We have in our organization done a avatar-based trainings now, where faculties actually can use their time in real work related to validation or business, and the avatars are actually delivering our trainings at the back end, which is without any human interference. The question is, people have some questions to the faculty and how do they get their answers? Actually, we have implemented some chatbots over there. So in the chatbot, any of the trainee can ask a question to the chatbot, and avatar answers is very well. So we have done a lot of machine learning for these chatbots. I know we have given some efforts to the system, but it's just one-time effort. It's not that every month I sit in a classroom and train 100 of people who have newly joined us or do a refresher trainings. My avatars are taking care of it. My chatbots are taking care of it. That's the example of quality. And if I have to talk about pharmacovigilance, reporting to the health authority is one of the very important aspect in pharmacovigilance, because what happens between a patient and the organization has to be reported to pharmacovigilance team, which is a health authority. We have done it automated reporting. So we have bots available in our system. As soon as we feed in the information, as soon as in fact we get a call from a patient, the information gets automatically recorded in a form. We investigate it manually, we submit the response, and the response goes to the patient and to the health authority systems automatically. So we have saved a lot of human resources over there, first of all, and we have used these, strong minds to do something else which may be required for the future and not for, in manual work. Sorry, you're not audible.
So, as you mentioned about changing industry trends and shifting to the AI, what are some other upcoming industry trends that would result in a significant change in the auditing landscape?
I think from an auditing landscape perspective, I'm a certified lead auditor, and I have conducted around more than 30 to 35 audits till date globally. And till date, I have been auditing a very traditional manner, taking out the SOPs, going to the actual location, comparing the procedure versus how it has been practiced. That's it. But in future, when we have these new technologies come in, I think we as an auditor will have to uh, uh, need to relearn ourselves and make sure that we understand how these AI technologies work. So rather than going a traditional way with the document and against the practices, we need to see how these AIs are delivering and how the coding has been done at the back end, which is nothing but the CQV, which is computer quality validation. So that comes into the picture rather than, ISO 9001, because ISO 9001 needs to be maybe revised and get all these technologies inbuilt into it. So that would be the major change you will sooner see into the market, which will help all the industries and the lead auditors in the market.
Certainly, so. So as we are discussing about risk mitigation, so how do you ensure risk mitigation while still being compliant to the regulatory guidelines set by the regulatory bodies?
Uh, from risk mitigation perspective, we always have to file a risk and make sure that our systems are not impacted. I mean, what do you mean by risk? First of all, risk is something that which may impact your business, impact your manufacturing lines. I come from a manufacturing background, so it's very important to identify the risk, but now we identify it at a later point of time, and it's important to be your part of your dossier when you submit it to the health authority. But it's just not the risk anymore, because you have to submit a risk and a mitigation plan for it, where you have all the actions and you have to involve health authority in convincing them that yes, we have a risk, but we have an action plan to mitigate it, which proves that your patient is secured, your medicines are good to use in the market, and you're not having any impact on the health of the world.
Absolutely, sir. And sir, we saw your profile and we know that you are a C4 expert. So what precisely does a C4 expert stand for? And what are the various experts of being a C4 expert? And is it anyhow related to technology and communication?
No, my dear. It's not related to any communication or technology. C4 stands for complete cold chain care, which means that the there are a lot of organizations which use the products which are temperature controlled, and the products which I deal with are temperature controlled from 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. So it's a means how you ensure that your products are safe to be used, keeping in this temperature. When the product is manufactured, since it has been manufactured and until it is being used, it's a huge journey of a product. I think it takes around 4 to 5 months until the product reaches to the patient. because it's manufactured, it's kept in our warehouses in France or in some other country, then they're being shipped to India. In India, we transfer them to a warehouse, and from warehouse, we send it to distributors, to the chemist, and from chemist to the patient. It's a huge distribution chain. To ensure that the product is safe to use in going through this entire distribution chain, we call it as C4. And during this C4, we at every moment we take care of the product that the surrounding temperature of the product is between 2 to 8 degrees Celsius, and taking the process of taking care of this temperature from 2 to 8 degrees Celsius is called C4, which is complete cold chain care.
So, sir, is it something related to the transport and logistics aspect of the pharmaceutical domain, or is it something separate?
It's related to the transportation and distribution. So when you say transportation, actually it's part of distribution process, because distribution process starts from once the medicines come out of the manufacturing site. And as part of distribution process, you have certain parts of it. You have storage, you have transportation, you have distribution. So all these combined have to be taken care by C4.
Okay, sir. Sir, recently we conducted an international conference on the role of digital technology and AI in healthcare. So, according to you, what sort of skills are expected out of a pharma MBA graduate and postgraduates?
As I said earlier, AI, I'm not sure how many of you use ChatGPT. I'm not sure how many of you use Copilot. You use artificial intelligence, augmented reality. But I think these are the new technologies which are important to learn. And as you're growing minds, I think these are the trending skills, which I would really suggest that you should go. And today, if I have to, prepare something for you, I would blindly go to ChatGPT and ask a question, and then, start from there. So that's my starting point as of today. If I have to reply to my manager also, I would just type something in my email, take everything, put it into ChatGPT, and then I have a very professional reply to him then, which actually it's not a skill, but there is a skill in AI, but you have to feed it into your mind that there is someone to support you. There is a technology to support you. Why not use the technology? Why do you have to really, rely on yourself? So I'm not saying that our English is not good, or maybe we don't think technically, but I think in future and today, the technologies we use are the best available in the market. And if you leverage them, that's how you keep yourself updated.
Certainly, sir. And sir, how do you manage multiple projects within the quality and pharmacovigilance domain?
Managing multiple projects at the same time, first thing, we are being paid for it, so we have to do it. And how we do it is staying organized. So it's very important that you stay organized. If I'm doing something, it's very important for me to do. I take notes in my notes, or I have a lot of tools to do that. I have MS Projects, I have MS Planner, which I continuously use. So again, coming back to the technology and tools, it's very important to keep yourself updated and have a look in the market that what are the tools available which actually you can leverage to keep yourself up to date. At the same time, you have, let's say, 5 subjects you learned today. Maybe you come out of one classroom and you may not understand what happened there, or you went to the next class after that. Will you still remember what happened in the first session? Maybe or may not be. Why don't you just take some notes and keep it somewhere, right? I think staying organized is one thing, and try using best possible tools which are available from Microsoft or from, I'm not just promoting Microsoft, but from other providers to keep yourself up to date. And that's how we do it. So I have multiple MS projects planners where I feed in the information for one, and I know that how my path is going for my project, because I have a deadline for delivering a project, and I cannot really miss that deadline. So we have to always ensure that we are up to date for each track of a project. At the same time, we are also delivering. We are also keeping our management updated about it. We are, ensuring that we have everything in place for respective tracks.
So speaking of projects, what sort of projects should a fresher consider including in their CV to enter these fields, and what sort of publications should one have?
First thing, I think you need to modify your question. You don't need to have a project for your CV. I think get out of you need to get out of that understanding that today what you're doing is just for your CV. No, it's for your learning. So I think you should say that what kind of projects should we do to enhance our learning, which makes you stand out where I started with. So what kind of skills and projects you should do is one is project management. If you ask in an industry, it's a well-renowned word which is called project management. Try to do some projects in a project management, which gives you a vast understanding from end-to-end project, understanding from starting from a planning and evaluation, financial part of it, delivery, and all the dependencies, input, output. There are a lot of things as part of project management. If you have dealt with a project and if you understand a end-to-end project, that really gives you a good understanding that how to manage a business on a shorter part, but also how to make sure that you deliver things on time and with good quality. So project management, I would say you should try to learn it. And we never had this opportunity at that moment because we were not having these accesses or something. But today, I think everything is available on Google. So if you don't have the resources or the tools available, I think when you're sitting idle, rather than scrolling on Instagram or something, you should go to a chat GPT and ask some relevant questions about these projects and try to understand, try to see the templates of these projects. How does it look like? Because today, I have 3 project managers in my team and 2 positions for project manager are open. So project management is a very vast field, which can give you leverage of joining any industry, not only pharma sector. So if you have to join FMCG, I think project managers are required there. If you have to join automobile or any sector, I think project management is something which is flat available positions at every organization.
Right, sir. And sir, can you share any internship opportunity or any entry-level opportunity available for students looking to gain experience in pharmaceutical sector?
I think all the organizations invite young minds. So if you talk about my organization, Novo Nordisk, you go to the web page and you will find a student internship graduate program where we hire young minds who are postgraduates and graduates and actually send them on organizational expenses to 6 months on each business part of it, starting from, let's say, HR, then marketing, and then quality and regulatory, and maybe in finance. That's how you get to know the entire value chain of an organization. And then we give an opportunity to the student to decide that where they want to, create their future, which department they love the most, and which department can actually benefit the organization from their perspective. We have a one-to-one sparring sessions. So not sure about the other organizations, but yes, Novo Nordisk provides that opportunity. And there are other organizations also who hire young minds to as an intern, where first in couple of months, organization teaches to the students that how are the processes and what has to be done as part of the processes. But after that, yes, we also expect you to return it back in a sense of deliverables. Someone recently contacted me that, I want to have a 1 month of internship. I don't think so. Really, that really helps. 1 month will just take you to settle down in the organization and to understand the names and the culture of organization. So don't do anything just to write in your CV. Do something to learn it. So at least invest around 6 months in organization. Being an intern, you get to know what is the culture of the organization, what do we do in the organization, what are the processes, what is business looks like, and then you start delivering it.
Sir, as you were mentioning about project management, what are some other domains or areas do you feel a fresher might consider while pursuing in the pharma industry?
Uh, the latest trend is artificial intelligence. Uh, the latest trend is how well you can automate the business. So there are AI automation, data analysis. There are a lot of things which are related to IT. I know we are pharma students. It's just not about quality and validation in the industry anymore. I think it's way above that now. So I would suggest the skill you should develop is within the artificial intelligence field, that if you have a huge data, how can you analyze it in a easiest way? How can you have a output or a summary from a data in a easiest manner? And then you cannot do it, because right now I deal with thousand rows in an Excel sheet. It's huge data. How do you summarize that data? I think I just go to one of the tool which is called ThinkCell, or I go to ChatGPT. I mean, in Novo Nordisk, we have our own ChatGPT because we are not allowed to upload any data on the open AI, which is available for the open market, because if we have a confidential data. So we go to a Novo Nordisk ChatGPT and try to find out the answers from there. So automation, AI, data analysis, data leak, there are a lot of things related to that. So I think apart from pharmacy, you should get a skill of IT also, which is really trending in the market right now. I'm part of pharmaceutical industry, but it's not anymore pharmaceutical industry. We just don't only manufacture medicines or sit in the labs and do some testings. It's way above than that. We are building manufacturing sites. We are working as engineers sometimes. We are working as IT professionals sometimes. We are working as project managers sometimes. So we have different hats at different point of time. And these are the skills which maybe everyone has to develop when you're part of organization. But if you have time right now, why don't you set up these skills in advance and be ready to hit the market when your organizations come to hire you?
Sir, as you mentioned about AI and integration of AI into our industry, how has AI influenced the accessibility and affordability of pharmaceuticals?
If you ask me, the affordability depends on the organization. So I wouldn't say that if I'm spending more on this technology, I'm going to increase the price of my product and which is going to hit the patient. No, we are not going to do that, because it has also sometimes leveraged us on the saving on some resources, saving on some time. So we have benefit over there, which we take it as a benefit to us and then deliver this benefit to the patients. So affordability remains as is. But organizations, yes, we have to keep ourselves up to date and reaching to the best trends in the market. We invest a lot in these new technologies. I wouldn't promote, but you can go to LinkedIn and have a look at Novo Nordisk page, and you will really get to understand how much billions we are investing on creating these new manufacturing sites. Everywhere it is there on the news. So we are investing on creating new manufacturing sites which are based completely out of new technology, new trends. Uh, so, but this investment is not something which we are taking from you know the patients, but it's just our organizational profit which we are using to build up more manufacturing sites for the future.
Sir, being at such a successful senior position, how do you keep work-life balance?
I think there are two words in it, work and life, and until you keep them separate, it's completely fine. I know it's not really possible because I was also not able to do it, that entering into the university premises or being in a hostel. Actually, it has to be very separate, but I, 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 I really think if we would have been so much serious when we were entering the university premises, we would have just kept our work as work. And when we go back to hostel, because I have lived in those hostel premises, so I know what happens there. So if you keep something back in the hostels and separate what you have it in the university premises, it's wonderful. I think now we have learned that. So maybe after 5 p.m., I just close my work phone and I only use my personal phone, investing time with our family, investing time at home. And that's how we keep our work and life balanced together.
So as you said about separating work phones and having separating the two aspects, we are aware that you are living in Denmark. So given it ranks on the second highest at the happiness index, what adjustments you had to make for maintaining work-life balance here and in India compared to India?
I think to get it better, you don't have to make adjustments. If you have to go one layer down, you have to make adjustments. So it was not so difficult for us because when we came from India to Denmark, I have been in this organization for last 12 years, 11 years. And I have been visiting Denmark every year. So the work-life balance over here is very perfect. And when you see when I see my Danish friends, it's a norm that we don't contact each other for business after 5 p.m. And I really had to learn that because when I went for a vacation, I carried my work phone and I was just looking at my emails because that's where I come from India. That work phone is given to me to be available 24/7. But I think that was a learning for me that no, work phone is not given to you to be available 24/7, but because your vacation is your vacation. If there's something urgent, there are teams, who knows where to reach out to me. So they will reach out to me. And until unless there's any emergency, no one is gonna reach out to me. And I really respect that culture in Denmark. But back in India, our multinational organizations where we have our offices in India uh, are also adopting this culture now. And at least in Novo Nordisk, I can say that we are adopting this culture and we have the same or a similar work environment or the culture being practiced at every side of Novo Nordisk. And we really respect work-life balance everywhere.
Sir,
Sir,
what do you miss the most about being away from India?
What do I miss most? I think without any thoughts, one is family. And if I have to think about it, then it would be a street food. Because I'm a vegetarian guy, so the street food over here is hot dog, which I cannot consume. So I think that's what I miss with those handmade puchkas in India.
So recently, there are a few pharma companies who have started digital health services to patients through doctors for chronic diseases. What is the fate of digital health services in the future?
Uh, yes, and my organization, we have also done the pilot where, but it's only possible in developed countries and not in the developing countries, first of all, because in developed countries, uh, every person has a personal ID. I think like we have Aadhaar in India, but in India we have Aadhaar for document perspective. But over here, the national ID which we use is actually connected to our doctors. And then now, what pharmaceutical companies are doing, they are connecting this app, and the app is connected to the doctor. So, have you heard about these pacemakers, right? So every pharma company who has these devices, medical devices being prepared, they are launching a transmitter in the devices where these transmitters actually, one, they function your body, and second, they give an output of information from your body to your phone. And this information, when it gets to the phone, it directly gets communicated to the doctor. And once it reaches to the doctor, over here, doctors are really worried about their patients. So they actually have a look at it, that what's alarming for which patient, and they send a communication back that what kind of change in the medication or the treatment should be done. So the treatment line completely depends on that. The fate of it, if you ask me, is that's the future which every organization is looking at, where it's not patient dependent anymore. You don't have to depend on the patient to go to the doctor until and unless he or she feels unwell. I think doctor gets to know very much in advance before you really start feeling unwell. So your treatment you receive is much earlier than it is required, which really helps to cure your disorders faster than compared to the traditional way.
And sir, in your experience, what does risk management play in ensuring product safety and efficiency throughout the medicinal manufacturing process?
As I also communicated earlier, that if there's a risk, it means there's an impact. If there's an impact, we are not allowed to manufacture anything until unless you mitigate a risk and you remove it from the systems. You're not. We don't step to the next step. So at any point of time, there's a risk identified. We stop, we correct, and then we step forward. And this ensures that we have mitigated the risk, we have removed the risk from our systems, and the products which we are going to manufacture are fully safe for use. And talking about efficacy, I think if the product is safe to use, it is having a high efficacy to the patients. That's like a simultaneous effect.
Certainly, sir. So how is data integrity crucial in the regulatory audit process in the pharma companies? And what's the most crucial to evaluate in quality audits as you are a lead auditor?
Data integrity is first more. The first thing is data integrity for us. We have strong storage systems. We have, a physical document storages, uh, uh, digital document storages. We have GXP drives, which are actually, full safe from the external environment to be used. No one can enter these drives without a permission or a password. So that's how we ensure that the data we have stored is really very much secured. Talking about as a lead auditor, what we see is I think the a definition of auditing is a mindset that we visit a facility to find it out what's wrong. No, actually, we don't do that. We really visit these facilities to find it out that everything is going in compliance or not. So our aim is not to find it out that what's wrong and give a finding or identify just write in red color that this is not working fine. No, that's not our aim to do it. We ensure that we have developed a process and which we know that it's a full secure process. We compare this process to the practicalities what's going there in the premises. So we go to ensure that we are in compliance, and tomorrow when a health authority comes for auditing us, because at this point of time, if I am part of the organization, I can really find it out if something is not going well and I can correct it. But when health authority comes in and inspects the same thing and finds the same discrepancy, they're just not gonna give us opportunity to correct it. In fact, they're just gonna sign a red letter and say that shut down your organizations.
Just a minor announcement, the chat box is open for everyone. So whoever has queries or wants to ask questions to Sir can pose their questions directly into the chat. So continuing our discussion, Sir, how do you assess the impact of such technologies like AI and others on the manufacturing transparency and product traceability in the pharmaceutical manufacturing?
Sorry, could you please repeat the question?
So how do you assess the impact of emerging technologies such as AI, blockchain, Internet of Things on supply chain transparency, product traceability in the pharmaceutical manufacturing?
How do we measure it is from, we have a lot of measurement tools, I should say, and measurement parameters. And one is speed to the market, as you said. Second would be the innovation we are bringing to the market. And the third benefit would be obviously, the resource benefit. If I was using 10 people on the same processes and today I have to use only 5 people for that, it's obviously a benefit for me and I get some, savings to the organization. And the fourth is, and the bottom is always finance. Finance. If you're saving some money over there in overall process by including these tools and including these new emerging technologies, then absolutely it's a saving for us, and that's how we measure these benefits against the tools and the traditional processes, and we say that okay, we have a profit in the organization.
Right, sir. And sir, are there any other AI tools that you use for audit evaluation?
No, I don't really do that right now, but I think for writing the reports, I would be happy to use ChatGPT or OpenAI to provide me better language, which is very clear for my auditee to understand, or writing these reports. But still, audits are not done by AI. Audits are done by human beings. So we really do the audit, but I would be happy to use these tools for writing my reports actually, because it's a very much time-taking process. We go for audit for like 3 to 4 days, and we have to consolidate a report for 3 to 4 days. I mean, and the report is just not a report, it's an entire conversation we had it for last 4 days. And that has to be captured in a report and documented, saying that, okay, we saw this was the reply, we saw that, and that was the reply. So I would be happy to use a reporting tool which can help me to automate and write a perfect report without much of my efforts.
So as we were discussing about auditing on-site, recently we faced the challenge of COVID-19. So what are the major differences between on-site audits and remote audits?
Yeah, I think that's a new way of auditing. We have absorbed in all the organizations that we are, let's say my auditing team sits in Copenhagen, and my auditors cannot visit any countries to audit on site. So we have started doing remote audits now, and remote audits are, are maybe I should say not so, not maybe 90% we can achieve the target, but when we are on site, we 100% achieve the target. But when we are doing a remote audit, at the same time, we ask for the procedures and we ask for the documents, executed documents to be available. We see and compare them. We speak to the people, but the sense of speaking to a person face to face. I mean, I would love to come to your campus and present the same session to all of you and see you in person. That makes a different impact. But right now, sitting on a virtual situation, it may not have 100% impact. So that's the only difference. But talking about compliance, I think we never compromise on quality. So we anytime ensure that we are fully compliant, even virtual or on site. But at the same time, it requires a lot of effort from an auditor to audit these facilities virtually rather sitting on site. On site, it was much easier.
So now we're gonna take questions from the chat.
Yeah.
So one of them is asking, what advice would you give to the students who are freshers in the field of pharma?
I think I was not one of the brightest students, so I would not be the right person to give advice. But with my experience, if you ask me for advice, uh, one is stay organized. If you're staying organized, you know that what is happening where. So keeping your books clean, keeping your thoughts clean, keeping your all the processes clean, I think it's very important. So always stay organized. Develop some habits to have learn one thing one day. So you may not have all the skills in all the 365 days, but if you develop a habit of learning one thing one day, will actually really help you to develop these skills which you needed for the future. Stay always updated. I mean, just don't when you're scrolling on Instagram, rather Instagram, I would say just scroll on your LinkedIn and try to read some articles, try to read what is happening in the market, what is trending in the market. That will really help you to and give some information rather rather looking at the reels, what is happening and who's dancing and not, right? So it makes more impact. The other, I would say, the problem solving skills. If you have a problem, don't just run away from that. Try to solve these problems. That will really help you to develop some skills and handling these situations, which is actually a trending today. If I'm responsible for something, I think my manager expects me to not to come with a problem, but to come with a problem and two solutions. And he would be the right person to select which one fits for the purpose. So it's very important to bring a sense of responsibility. Take care of yourself. I think it's also very important that you emphasize on self-care. So it's not about the world, but it's about you. And try to gain some practical experiences. I know theory is something good, but at the same time, practical information is also very important. I was not so good at theories, but I think I was really good at practicals.
So moving on to the next question, what kind of additional skills, courses or certificates a pharma MBA should look for to add value to his credentials for making a career in the regulatory affairs?
For the regulatory affairs, there's a course which is provided by one of a very renowned organization, which is called RAPS. And if you are looking for your career in regulatory affairs, just blindly, you can go to the RAPS website and you will find so much of learning material over there and so many of courses. Some of them courses are absolutely paid ones, but some of the courses are really available for no cost. go ahead and take those courses. It will give you a vast learning about regulatory affairs. And I don't really remember the name of the course, but yes, there's a certification course which is really look forward when we hire someone in regulatory affairs. If someone is certified in as a certified regulatory affairs professional, something like that, CRA, so we blindly hire them because that course is very difficult to clear. And if someone has cleared it, it means that someone has a good information about regulatory affairs.
So could you highlight on importance of strategic planning in your domain?
Absolutely, I think that's the base. I'm into making strategies, and back in my 4 years experience, which I was talking about is business management, I was making strategies for the organization. And planning your work is absolutely required. If you're not planned and you're not staying organized, then you can actually mix up many things, and you may end up not delivering anything. So if you're planned, if you're organized, that will really help you to deliver on each track. So I think your colleague asked me a question that how do I manage multiple projects? I think that's the key of it. So if you have a strategical planning, that's how you will be able to manage all the projects at the same time, and you can deliver on each track wonderfully.
So one of us is curious, since you are an alumni of NMIMS, how was your journey here?
I think from hostel to the university premises and back to there, and sometimes out of the university. So I think that was our journey over there, nothing more than that. But first thing, and today also, that you should be really thankful to your faculties. And I think that's the reason I'm sitting here and talking to you, because I can't say no to my faculties, because what I'm today, it's something which has been taught to me by my faculties. If I wouldn't have been there, I wouldn't have been here as well. So my journey was, I was not such a bright student. I think I can see Dr. Payal being smiling, but yes, I was not such a bright student. So, but I was very good at practicals. So I think that led me to this university is something which only university which includes industry trends into it, invites many industry professionals to understand what's actually happening in the industry and not only the theoretical part of it. Absolutely, theory is important because you have to get some grades to pass out and has to be on your documents. But at the same time, it's just not about theory. It's also about what's happening in the market, what's happening in the industry is really very important for you to understand. So when we were there, I think our journey, our batch was the second batch of the campus, and we had just one level of seniors who really passed out when we joined the university. So we did not have so much of experience, but now I think we are really very matured from the processes, from the teaching perspective. So I would say take leverage of all the knowledge you have around you and make the best out of it every day.
So I request everyone to turn on their cameras for a group photograph.
Hello, Smith. I would like to say something.
Even the classrooms camera can be put on so that the speaker can see that students are listening in groups.
Yeah, I would like to let Gaurav know that we have students right from B.Pharm first year to M.Pharm second year listening to you from all the branches of pharmaceutical quality assurance, pharmaceutical technology, and pharmacology. And we also have our faculty members from all around. We have we are very, very happy that Dr. Godson has also joined us. And I would like to let the audience know that Gaurav was being modest by saying that he was not one of those important people or maybe, the brighter students. Rather, he was the one who was always the face for NMIMS at many times when we had guests. So I remember asking, in my classes, he asking me very smart questions. So that I like to disagree with you, Gaurav, on this. And thank you so much, Gaurav, sir. We would like you to interact with Gaurav once because he was talking about you and he said that it's you who has made him come to MPharm, to pursuing MPharm at NMIMS.
Sir, there is a voice issue. We cannot hear.
Yeah, thanks. I thought it's only me.
I would be passing the message of Gaurav to you, Gaurav, as he is facing some issues with the mic. And we will ask all the audience to, switch on their cameras wherever you are sitting and let's have a group photo together. Once again, I would like to thank Gaurav for giving us time and, making it for the students, for the young generation over here. Thank you so much for waking up early in the morning today and joining us and helping us understand the current situation in pharmaceutical industry and also about the quality audits. I think there's a lot of knowledge and value addition that has been done. Plus, I would also ask my students to be updated on current ongoings as our girls will keep telling us every now and then that we have to be updated and we as an MIMS has to be 10 years ahead than all other colleges to ensure that our students get the best positions like Gaurav.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for that opportunity.
Yeah, so can we have the group photograph or group screenshot together? I would also request if Panchali sir would like to say something.
Yeah, I am very thankful to Mr. Gaurav. Actually, the kind of importance he has put on the emerging trends, and the listeners should have understood that is why we recently concluded with the conference on digitalization. There is a need that pharmaceutical companies are expecting the current graduates to have that kind of domain knowledge. And recently on 16th and 17th, 18th of February, we had an international conference on Digital Vision 2030. So IT and particularly AI is a buzzword, and most of our students are now interested in getting into it by some or the other reason. I'm thankful, Gaurav, for sharing your insights, your experience, and giving the kind of insight to the students how they should prepare for their future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
So I would like to let you know that our students are using ChatGPT a lot. In fact, it has become so much that we have to check every now and then. And yes, as I told you before, that it was very insightful, interview that we had with you. We would like to have you even offline anytime when you come back to India.
Of course, ma'am. That's my pleasure.
So, lastly, what is the advice you want to leave our audience with?
I think I did answer that question, but again, if I have to answer that, then I would say first thing is stay organized and stay updated. Actively participate in all the activities because visibility is something which is really very important in the industry. So sitting on the back bench, we were backbenchers. So sitting on the back bench also brings a lot of visibility. So standing out of the crowd is something very important. So which will help you to learn emerging trends and don't run away from the problems and try to solve the problems. And you have a lot of good mentors. Find your mentors within your organization or within the premises, which can really help you to teach something which is something new to you. I would just say a quote that it's not about being perfect, and it's about all your efforts. So do something today that your tomorrow can thank you.
So I personally learned a lot from this session, especially about pharmacovigilance and project management and the impact of AI on the pharmaceutical industry. It was really a wonderful and informative session. We are indeed very grateful to have this interaction with you, and we clearly got an idea of many different concepts that we were not aware about. On behalf of our entire Saturday 10 a.m. team and the student community, I would like to thank you for sparing your time and interacting with our students.
Thank you so much for that opportunity, and I would love to be part of further sessions. If you want any information on any specific topics related to pharma, I would be happy to help you guys. But I would still again say that stay updated rather than Instagram, use LinkedIn.
So I too learned a lot, and we would like to extend our gratitude to Director R.S. God and the Deans of NPTP Shirpur and our faculty mentors Dr. Payal Dande, Professor Harshal Kotwal, and Dr. K.V. Patil for the constant support and guidance. Lastly, we would like to thank you all for being such a wonderful audience and joining us today and making the session a success.
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Thank you so much. Please convey my regards to all the faculties in the institute.
Sure.
Thank you. Have a nice day. I'll go back to sleep now.
Thank you, sir.